Coming up, is this watch better than a Grand Seiko? Let's find out.
You know what you're gonna be? Blasted.
Hello and welcome back to Automatic Reviews. I'm Mark. Before we get to this week's incredible watch, the Nomos Club Campus 38 in Eternal Blue, reference 724, I just want to mention that in the unboxing video, I had assumed I'd be focusing on the strap experience, but I just enjoy the sport bracelet so much more that I'll be focusing on that today instead. It's the one to get, guys. Also, I just want to thank you all for supporting Automatic Reviews. This week marked a milestone as this channel has reached 1,000 subscribers. And it's all because of you guys. I am truly grateful. Thank you. For those of you who are new to the channel, the premise is pretty simple. My goal is to review the best watches at all price ranges, and if that sounds good to you, consider hitting that subscribe button. And while you're at it, why not hit that little bell icon so you can be notified each week when my latest video goes up. All right, so before we continue, just another reminder that this week's video wasn't sponsored, but even if it was, I'll always tell you what I really think. Now let's take a look at this watch. Just a quick look at the unboxing experience. It's unique. There's a tissue paper wrapping, and even that has a cool watch theme. Inside that, you have a handwritten thank you card with some documents, and a catalog to get you to start dreaming of your next watch. More importantly, there's a long, elegant wooden box inside a branded cardboard sleeve. To open the box, you use a small push button, revealing the plastic wrapped watch, which has been secured with elastic retainers. On the other side, there's a warranty card, which, if you buy directly from Nomos' website, will be stamped as purchased at the Nomos store in Glasuta. Nomos watches feature a 2-year warranty. The stainless steel case features no brushing and is entirely polished. The case is 38.5 millimeters across and a very slim 8.5 millimeters thick. The lug-to-lug is 48.9 millimeters, and the lug width is 20 millimeters. It has a screw-down sapphire display case back, and a signed non-screw-down crown. I opted for this brushed and polished steel sport bracelet, but it's also available on a less expensive bracelet or a strap. The movement is Nomos' own hand-wound in-house alpha caliber, with a power reserve of 43 hours. It beats away at 21,600 beats per hour. There is a loomed, polished baton-shaped handset with both hands featuring triangular tips. They're somewhere between batons and swords, I suppose. The seconds hand is a neon orange baton that circulates around an elegantly recessed small seconds dial. Here's a quick loom shot. The watch features pale blue superluminova. The Nomos logo, as well as the Arabic numerals, batons, Roman numerals, and chapter ring, are all printed superbly on its sky-like matte eternal blue dial. The installed crystal is a gently domed sapphire. They don't specify if an AR coating is applied, but it's a safe assumption as reflections are minimal. Water resistance is 100 meters. Nomos watches are made in-house in Glasuta, Germany. Here it is on my flat profile 7-inch wrist. On the sport bracelet adjusted for me, it weighs a very light and comfortable 107 grams. This watch's current price with the display case back and the sport bracelet is $3,450 Canadian, or about $2,400 US. This marks a considerable price increase from when I ordered mine less than 4 months ago for only $2,765 Canadian, or about $1,931 US dollars. That means as of April 1st, for this watch with these specifications, you'd have to pay approximately 700 Canadian more than you did back when I ordered mine. Is this price increase fair? Absolutely, they were undercharging. That said, they've sort of lost the claim to the title of like insane value for money, and they've sort of been just downgraded to just great value for money, which is, still great. There are no true lows here as far as I'm concerned. This watch is that good. The power reserve could be longer. At 43 hours, I believe this watch's power reserve, while certainly acceptable and in line with much of its competition, is just okay. It's one of the few things I'd change about this watch, but certainly not a deal breaker. The 2-year warranty, like the power reserve, is still okay and in line with many of their peers, but in 2025, with many brands expanding their warranties and Nomos increasing their prices, I think it's time to re-examine the warranty. Even an increase to 3 years would make a massive difference. You can't talk about Nomos without talking about the lugs. They don't bother me at all, but some people obsess over them. I'm not saying they wouldn't affect the fit for some wrists, and everyone is entitled to their opinion, but this feels more like a reviewer-created issue to me. What I mean by that is almost all reviewers feel compelled to mention the lugs as a problem, and then it gets repeated by every other reviewer and in every forum and so on. One reason I know this is that it's something that almost only exists in a video format, where the watch's proportions are magnified. In person, these lugs and the gap between the strap and the case look so much more subtle and so much less noteworthy. I think most people who experience this watch in person and are not told, "These lugs are too long," wouldn't think they're too long. Besides, it's part of Nomos' design language and part of what makes them unique. Some will complain though, so it's worth a mention. All crowns scratch immediately when you wear a watch, so please ignore the condition of the crown. But I have to say the crown etching is more premium than product photos led me to expect. The photos looked like a laser etching you'd find on many micro brands, but this is a deeper, more premium etching, so I thought it was worth a specific mention. Really cool. This is a no-date watch, and as usual, I love that. The dial is uninterrupted by anything unnecessary, and when combined with the hand-wound caliber, it lends itself very well to being worked seamlessly into a rotation. It's great. This watch features a California dial. The top half has Arabic numerals and the bottom half has Roman numerals. Actually, technically it's a reverse California dial, as usually it's the other way around. I think this adds a really unique look to the watch and a real cool factor. The bracelet is a total game changer as far as I'm concerned. It's elegant, sporty, and incredibly comfortable. Some people criticize bracelets when they don't have fitted end links, and sometimes I can relate to that. But I think in this case it's actually a positive. This isn't what I traditionally view as a bracelet at all. It's more like a metal strap than a conventional bracelet, and I love that about it. It's the best of both worlds. I've seen some criticisms about this bracelet where people felt that the clasp has an upside-down logo on it. This is a misunderstanding. The logo is right side up when the bracelet is installed correctly by Nomos. What ends up appearing upside down is the closing direction of the clasp. This is a cool approach in my opinion. The fold of the clasp is designed to sit somewhat asymmetrically toward the thumb side of your wrist. This way the folded portion is out of the way and the side of your wrist that leans against surfaces comes in contact with the supple links of the bracelet itself rather than the clasp beneath. It's very well thought out. Another complaint I've seen is that the all-polished clasp will show scratches immediately, and that is extremely true. I think they wanted to mimic the all-polished case to tie the aesthetic together, so it's a trade-off. Because it's something that shows up much more in studio lighting and when magnified, I don't see it as a massive negative in actual practice. The adjustment system is screw-based, but again, in a very unconventional fashion. Each link slides together and is held in place by 2 tiny screws on the underside of the bracelet. Also included is a really simple and functional on-the-fly micro-adjust, where they essentially kept the simplicity of a spring bar-based adjustment system, but added permanently affixed quick-adjust spring bars with tiny handles. It works perfectly and it's brilliantly engineered. More brands should introduce a similar system. The whole sport bracelet experience is unique and a perfect match for the Club Campus and worth the additional $500 or so it will cost you, in my opinion. This watch has a movement that is made in-house by Nomos, the Alpha Caliber. It's a really gorgeous creation that looks even more beautiful the closer you look at it, even at nearly literally microscopic magnifications. I don't always believe opting for a display back is the best choice. There are some trade-offs in comfort if you're a person with particularly sweaty arms, for example. But in the case of this watch, even with the hefty upcharge, I'd recommend going with a display case back. It's comfortable and the movement just has to be seen. Also worth a mention, so far it's running at an excellent 3 or so seconds fast per day, so no complaints there either. Just as with the footage of the absolutely stellar movement, some of these shots are basically at microscopic levels of magnification. This watch just doesn't disappoint. Every little detail was considered carefully and executed upon with intention. The only issues I had with dust or fibers outside of some really minute particles on the watch face was the dust floating around in my studio and a fiber on my camera sensor itself. The refinement and cleanliness of this watch under scrutiny rivals or surpasses Tudor, Omega, Rolex, and every other brand I've looked at under magnification. Even Grand Seiko, which many consider to be the king of the macro lens. At 38.5 millimeters across, 8.5 millimeters thick, weighing in at only 107 grams, and having a truly ergonomically designed case and bracelet, this watch is infinitely comfortable. I wish more watches were this easy to wear. Nomos watches don't even really need logos on them. You'd immediately recognize them by their cool Bauhaus-inspired designs that are often paired with stunning colorways. Nomos understands how to create pieces that perfectly represent their unique design aesthetic. This watch is practical and reserved, and yet also adventurous and unique all at the same time. It stands out in the crowd. Not many retailers in North America have these in their watch cases, but I guarantee if you went to a store and these were under the glass, you'd be drawn to them immediately. They're special and interesting, but not wacky and something you'd regret picking up. They still manage to look and feel very respectable, while at the same time grabbing your attention. For lack of a better way of describing it, Nomos watches have a star quality or an X factor. It's super refreshing. The value for money on these watches is extremely high here, even with the new higher prices. Superb designs, in-house movements, high-level finishing, and made in Germany for less than half the price of many competitive watches. Nomos stands out as one of the best value watchmakers out there, even rivaling or surpassing Grand Seiko in the value for money category. So, I started with a question: is this watch better than a Grand Seiko? That's a broad question, but to answer it, I think we have to look at Grand Seiko's two main strengths: finishing standards and value for money. As far as finishing standards go, this Nomos is on Grand Seiko's level, no question. This watch is incredibly refined and even holds up to literally near microscopic scrutiny, in some cases even faring better than Grand Seiko under the macro lens. As far as value for money is concerned, Nomos absolutely shines. This watch is still a steal even after recent price increases. You can get a superbly made watch with an in-house mechanical movement for less than $1,800 US. That's an even better value than Grand Seiko. So the question as to whether or not this watch is actually better than Grand Seiko is a little silly. They're very different watches, and much of this is very subjective. But nevertheless, the answer, in my subjective opinion, is possibly yes. The finishing standard is arguably higher, and the value for money is too. Those are the two things that Grand Seiko is known for, so if this watch is doing them as good or better, you could sort of argue this watch is out Grand Seikoing Grand Seiko. Anyway, I rarely say something is perfect because nothing truly is, but this watch comes very close. And more important than being perfect, it's unique and special and unlike anything else that's currently in your watch box. This watch is guaranteed to shake up your collection, almost to the same degree a novelty piece would. That's how different it feels from everything else out there. Yet it still adds a feeling of prestige, horological merit, and class. Again, nothing is truly perfect, but for me, guys, this watch is a 10 out of 10. Alright, so what about you? What do you think about the Club Campus? Do you own one? Do you want one? Which color do you prefer? Do you like the sport bracelet, or would you rather have it on a strap? I want to hear about it. Okay, so that's it. That's all, guys. Don't forget to check out the description for any relevant links. Until next time, bye-bye.